I'm visiting our friends, the Corritons, at Pentillie Castle in Cornwall. Sammy has persuaded me to take a bracing dawn dip in the River Tamar.
It's not too bad.
What do you think?
Well, it's
Better than I was expecting.
I feel that it is warmer than the air.
And I'll be getting my workout for the day in the clock tower.
Come on, faster, faster!
Time certainly doesn't stand still at this castle.
When I married into the British aristocracy, it was the start of a wonderfully exciting journey. But it was also a little daunting. I became a Viscountess, and for an American girl from a small town outside Chicago, that was quite a shock.
I live with my husband Luke, heir to the Earl of Sandwich, and our family at Mapperton House in Dorset. Mapperton is a glorious sandstone house dating originally from the 1540s. It is known as Britain's finest manor house, and it is full of wonderful treasures collected by Luke's ancestors.
Living in a place like this is a joy, but also a challenge. And every day we're aware that we're preserving a very special part of Britain's heritage. Mapperton has opened up an extraordinary new world for me, and I can't wait to share it with you all.
So if you love castles and manors and stately homes as much as I do, please join me as I head off to visit some of Britain's most spectacular historic homes.
On these trips, I'll be meeting other owners who manage these large houses and estates, as well as some of the fantastic people who work there too. With them, I'll be exploring the history, the landscapes, and the innovations of generations past and present. And I'm particularly keen to meet the remarkable women who, like me, have married into these families, bringing new ideas, energy, and more than a touch of style.
I'll be sure to roll up my sleeves and help out with a few jobs along the way.
Is there a snake in here?
Yeah.
What? What?
So please join this American Viscountess as I journey into the British countryside in search of some of Britain's finest historic houses.
Pentillie Castle has undergone many changes since it was built for Sir James Tilley in the late 17th century. But one treasure that has kept ticking since then is up in the tower overlooking the croquet lawn. And I'm just in time to give Sammy a hand.
The aptly named clock tower. There we go. We're going up to wind the clock, which happens every Friday. Wait until I've got it up here.
It doesn't. Okay. You're much quicker than I am, I suspect, because you do this how many times a week? Oh, it's about to go. Fantastic.
Ready. It's on time.
Just in time.
Yes.
This is obviously, I mean, this is quite ancient. Well,
Older than you and I.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine.
Exactly.
It's got grey hairs than me.
and so what does it date back to?
This is 1788. And the bells, I just donked my head. The bells, so of which this one isn't the one that dongs, but we can just dong this one for... That was a bit louder than I expected. So that one's just if you need to ring a ding dong, but the one on the top, they're both 1705, and there's a few more down in the cellar. So James Tilley must have had like an array of bells, perhaps.
Yes.
The bell that's on the roof, which is the one that donged at 10, is 1705.
It's 1705.
But the clock itself is 1788.
Right. So
This
it must
clock.
have had to be repaired
Yeah, exactly.
at some point.
So
you come up here how often?
once a week,
Once a week.
Friday mornings normally.
Right.
Not always me, I confess. It is sometimes Steve the gardener, who's a legend and comes and keeps us on time. But basically what we've got here is two great big reels with wire on.
Yes.
And if you look up here, so they come out of here and then onto a pulley, and each one goes down that long tube. Can you see down,
Yes,
down, down?
I can.
And they've each got a big weight on the bottom of it.
They do.
So to wind it up, we get a week's worth of wind if we... Are you ready?
Yeah.
You can do this actually. Slot it onto there and then wind it And I can never remember which way you wind it, not that way.
This way.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Come on, Shira!
Okay. Oh my. And then it will tell me when it's done?
We'll look up there, we'll see the weight come up to the pulley. You just don't want to
You do
wrap.
this every... Sammy.
There's a reason why I have bigger shoulders than you.
Okay, now I'm getting my groove. Oh my goodness.
Come on, faster, faster! And now look here, it's coming up. So we just want to stop it when it gets to about there.
So where should I stop?
Now, stop.
Okay.
There we are. So if it goes further, then it gets all clunked up and then it's a problem. But this is the hefty weight. I don't actually know how heavy that is. And then there's the other one down the bottom still that we need to do.
This is much easier from here.
Hang on, you're nearly here.
Oh, I am. I'm much faster on this one.
Done.
Done.
Well done.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
That was
Now catch your breath.
quite invigorating,
hefty, isn't it?
actually.
So there we are. The clock is now wound for another week. So this, if you were down below, you could just pull that and dong the bell if you want to.
Oh, I might have to do that.
Or you can do it here if you'd like to. You can sort of
okay.
dong me down the stairs. Or I could dong
you
you down the stairs.
I'll dong you down the stairs. I hope you are having as much fun watching these episodes of American Viscountess as I am making them. It is so important to bring history to life and to celebrate these wonderful places. But we need your help as we rely entirely on the support of our patrons who help cover the costs of production. Please do join our community of supporters by becoming a patron at patreon.com/American Viscountess. Here you'll get early access to all the episodes as well as a lot of other behind the scenes benefits. I really look forward to seeing you there.
In the early 19th century, the landscape designer Humphrey Repton developed grand designs for large country houses and their estates, producing drawings and plans in what were known as red books. Ted has kindly agreed to show me the red book produced for Pentillie.
In 1810, the family had a huge amount of money and they decided to enlarge the house greatly.
Wait, your family had a huge amount of money in 1810. Okay.
It's all gone now. and build 3 extra wings in the house. But one of the things they did was get a guy called Humphrey Repton, who was a very famous landscape designer, to come and advise. And he did 5 houses on the River Tamar, and one of which is Pentillie. And the way he operated was to produce a red book, which could be in this format, or it could be much smaller. But we're lucky we've got a big red book.
Yes.
And he recorded what was here in a series of drawings.
Okay,
and here
so this is
says that it was done.
So during his period, though, he was well known. I mean, he was sought after.
Yes.
So
he did a total of 230 houses. And the red books are sort of collector's pieces. They should stay with the house, but quite a lot of them
were sold
have gone from the house.
Right.
They're worth a huge amount of money.
So he's come here.
And this is what he saw. This was the layout of the house. In grey was what was already there of the house. This was the original tower, I think, on the terrace. Sheep pasture going down towards the river. And these were the outbuildings, the stable court and the gardens at that stage were very much closer.
But so he was hired for this.
Yeah.
But he was right. So only wealthy families could hire him.
Yes.
To produce this red book.
Yeah.
Right. And the red book served the purpose for
design drawings.
Drawings is what it was.
And the owner could either say, yes, let's do that, and use the red book as the blueprint, or they could say, don't think we really want to do that.
Right.
It's just the same as you employ an architect or a landscape designer now.
Exactly, but I love how he's just written here, this lawn to the east may be fed by sheep, as that is to the west, or, if not deemed too large, for a rosary
Yeah.
or flowers garden.
He went into a lot of detail about it. He did a couple of paintings. That one is as he saw the castle when he arrived. Got the river here, and he came up with an idea of that.
Good, it's like a flap.
You lift the flap out of the way, and you get a much more imposing castle.
You certainly
and
do.
you've got battlements on it or crenellations. And the parkland, these were fields, and the mausoleum being up here. And he said the fields look just like fields. They don't look as if they're the park of a big house. So get rid of the hedges, but leave the trees. And you can see these trees in lines, and some of these trees are still there. His idea was that a view that's just a view is boring. There's no space.
There's no texture.
There's no scale to it.
Right.
And so he says you need to plant trees so
And
you
so he
can
did.
look at a view. And you planted trees in a set way, so you had the darker trees closer to the house and the lighter further away. So when you looked in, it framed the house.
Right.
And when you looked out, the world opened up in front of you. Because the house was designed to be impressive from the river.
Absolutely.
Because that was the main
Yeah.
thoroughfare in 1810.
This is how he saw it,
Yep.
and then how he wanted it to be
look.
seen.
Yep. And it's very
can I
similar
flap
to that
this?
now.
Oh yes, it's very imposing. Look at that.
And
And when he presented his red book to your ancestors, when they saw this, is this what they had intended to do in the end?
no, they didn't follow Repton's advice. I think they'd inspired them, and they got a guy called William Wilkins, who had been involved in St. Paul's Cathedral,
Right.
to design a house.
And look, you can see again, lots more trees, many, many more trees.
And the house was a lot bigger. It had these 3 extra wings going out. The front door was now where the drive is. And it was a nightmare. It had 18 bedrooms and 1 bathroom.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
So the mornings weren't good. You needed to be up first.
Exactly.
And no heating. So the plans for the house, the black is already there,
Yes.
or was there, and he said leave it. But the grey, it was what he suggested that should be built.
Fantastic.
You've got Mrs. Cox's room there. I presume that was the
Scullery, larder, cook's pantry.
servants' hall, a grand
Brilliant.
hall here.
What a fantastic and wonderful reference. A real
and it's
treasure.
fun that it
It's a
stays
treasure.
with the house.
Yeah, it stays with the house.
Because without the house, it has no, to my mind, no value at all.
It's wonderful that you've kept it here, and I've been able to look at it. Fantastic. Oh, thank you, Ted.
Not at all.
How special
Pleasure to
and wonderful
share
for
it.
me. If you can see right behind me, that is the moon. It's just made its appearance, and it's just incredible. Full moon, extraordinary color, and really just capping off the most fantastic day here at Pentillie. I'm getting ready for supper. I can't wait to spend the night in my room, but today's day out has been sensational. So really from just arriving here, picking up the confetti, blowing it away, spending time with Sammy, that extraordinary sun salutation to help me with my fear of cows, and picking the sloes, making some sloe gin with Mark. I mean, so much in one day, spending time with Sammy's father, Ted, at the mausoleum, and of course the wonderful military wall with Sarah, and that lovely walk in the garden, and being able to really experience what veterans are able to experience here as well. I couldn't even have imagined what today would have been like, and it has just exceeded all of my expectations. Sammy and her family are just one of a kind, and to be here at this really loving family environment and around such a supportive community, and of course that just says it all right there. So I'm off to dinner, and then I'm gonna sleep really well tonight.
For early access to American Viscountess and lots of other benefits, please join as a patron at patreon.com/American Viscountess.
Next morning, Sammy and I are up at dawn for a chilly swim in the River Tamar. It's a wonderfully exhilarating ending to my visit.
It's really good. Okay, it's not too bad.
What do you think?
Well, it's
Better than I was expecting.
I feel that it is warmer than the air.
I think you're
but
right, actually. Yeah.
It is. I mean, breathe, get oxygen in. So
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's getting the oxygen in.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Well,
this is spectacular. And
aren't we
it feels,
lucky?
what's the word I'm looking for? What does it
It
feel
feels
like?
sort of silky, does it? The water this
Yeah.
morning?
It feels, yes, it is. Is it always like
Supportive?
this?
No, not always. Sometimes it feels really thin and like it's not holding you up. Other days it feels rather like this. You could
Right.
swim for hours.
You could, I could swim for hours if my legs and arms would allow me to do that.
Shall we go to Devon?
Yes, please.
Let's do it. Let's head to Devon.
But so the tide is obviously high.
Yeah, so it's
we're-
slack water at the moment. So we've not got too much flow going either way, so we can go straight across to Devon.
Right. Sure. All right.
Enough?
Yes. I think I'm ready
We
for
need
a hot bath
coffee.
and a coffee.
Oh my goodness. Sleepiness.
I'm definitely wide awake.
Fun, huh?
It was just amazing.
Trusty sun doing its trusty thing.
Okay.
Amazing.
This is extraordinary. I would be doing this every day. I am definitely warming up right now, which is
Good.
really,
The
really
coffee's helping
nice.
the
The
trick.
coffee's helping, the sunshine. But I mean, what I have to say, spectacular day out for me. Coming here was just a treat because it was just different, because I really got to see you running the castle, but doing it so extraordinarily well with the leaf blower, but also, and managing, the weddings and the shoots that you have coming up and the guests that you have staying, and still keeping, Pentillie working and in the family.
Yeah, well... Tamu! Let the dog
Tamu
out.
agrees,
Okay,
Tamu agrees.
She does agree. She's very happy to be here with all the guests. No, it's fun, and there are definitely good moments. I think also some days I run it better than others, but I think that's the same for everybody.
Just everybody, for all of us.
Deep breath, but
Right, deep
try
breaths and
get it back in the river.
And get back in the river. Whenever you need.
Grounding.
Exactly.
Hey, there's the dog that's going to ruin my hair. Does my hair look nice in this? The dog comes and shakes on me regularly just to keep you grounded back in the real world.
That's right. Well, I'd be
We're
swimming
very
in
lucky,
here.
aren't we? Very spoiled.
Well, you do an amazing job, Sammy. So you deserve to be spoiled. Definitely.
Sweet. Well, it's nice to share.
Join me next time on American Viscountess when I follow in the footsteps of the pilgrims who sailed to America on the Mayflower in 1620. And in future episodes, I visit William and Allie Hannum, whose family has lived at Dean's Court for almost 500 years.
and
Lovely.
fish upstream.
Oh. That would make sense.